good afternoon. So it looks like it's 1:30 a.m. and looks like it's quite time to record a video about how I studied English language, like during all my life, what was happening to me and how I became who I am. Actually, because learning languages shaped me as a person a lot. And everything started not in a kindergarten, not actually in my early childhood. It all started in, yes, I think in first grade when I moved to Volodymyr. It's a little town in Ukraine. And I started learning English on some level, I think in fifth grade, when I was transferred, yes, to a gymnasium. It was an excellent school, and we had a great teacher who used English books, and also she was in America several times, as I remember for that time. And after that, we had another excellent teacher, Olena Valerievna Holovach, whom I'm really grateful, because I was a terrible student in middle and high school. And I used to skip a lot of classes, like really a lot. I used to behave terribly. I used to not do my homework. But still, she managed to teach me a lot, really a lot. And also, I had a friend. Her name was Emilia, and still is. And I'm trying to keep in touch with her because she's a great inspiration for me. But still, we're living far away, so we cannot actually communicate as much as I'd like to. And this friend of mine, she took part in a contest. It was called Flex, and there you have to show your leadership qualities, your leader qualities, right? And you should also have excellent command of English language. I attempted to go through that program as well, and I didn't succeed. I don't know why. Maybe it was because my English wasn't as good as I thought back then. But also maybe I was not quite a confident child, because I used to be a really weird child. I think I'm still a bit weird. Look at my hair. I mean, it's quite weird. And also after that, I attempted the Flex program in 8th grade, I believe. After that, I continued studying in Ukraine. I didn't go anywhere, but that friend of mine, she went to USA. Then she entered a university in Canada, and now she's successfully working, I believe, in USA, if I'm not wrong. Emilia, I'm sorry if you're watching this. I believe you're in States, and everything goes excellently for you. After that, I had a gap year, so normal kids. I had a gap year, which I spent being a karate coach. After that, I entered a university. I was meant to be a biotechnologist, and I used to study in English-speaking group, which was really interesting to work with science in terms of English language as well. I think I'm naturally inclined towards learning languages throughout all my life, and that's something that interests me all the time. And I'm now learning Hebrew, Italian, I know Polish very well, and also Ukrainian, Russian, and Belarusian, which is weird because even a lot of people who are citizens of Belarus, they don't know their own language. I know it's like a matter of discussion in there, but still. We're talking about English, so let's proceed on that. Yeah, also I know German. Yes, I think German is one of my favorite languages. Apparently, I really love Ukrainian and Polish. And also German sounds like the most European language there is, the most classical one for me. Even Latin doesn't make such an impression on me, but I think if you want to be a good linguist, you must learn Greek, Latin, and Sanskrit, because those are three languages where everything origins from. And yes, these three languages are the things that I aim to learn one wonderful day, that I'll be able to say that, yeah, I know ancient Greek, I know Latin, and I know Sanskrit. But still, I know like several words from here, some grammar structures from there, and letters in Sanskrit. Yes, quite a lot of characters in there actually, but it's beautiful and it's interesting. And if you look through the Sanskrit, you can see a lot of connections with Indo-European languages, because a lot of things originated from there. But sorry, it's a bit late and I'm a bit disorganized in matters of speaking now, but still I want to proceed. After university, which I didn't graduate for some reasons, maybe it'll be a topic for some other video, I started working as a waitress, yes. And there I met a man who said me, what are you doing here? He was American. And I actually saw him twice. First time when I was just starting working as a waitress. He said, what are you doing here? Your English is so good, you should look for other job. I said, yeah, okay, of course I will do that. Then I met him for the second time, like 2 months later, and he said something. And I thought, maybe I should listen to smart people. And I listened to him. And after that, I had some other weird jobs, one of which was working with art, working with paintings, with framing. It was really excellent and I enjoyed that a lot. But as you can see, I've got troubles with my skin, and I have it throughout all my life. And when you work in that sphere, you have a lot of contact with different aggressive chemical compounds that affect skin not in the best way. So I had to leave that to quit the job that I really liked, actually. And next, I thought that maybe languages is something worth working with. And I thought that maybe I should be a translator. I went to a translation course in translations agency called TRIS. And there they didn't want to accept me for the course because they thought that my English is not sufficient, that that's not enough, and I promised that I'll improve that. I worked really hard. I went from like B1 or something in terms of vocabulary, and like A2 plus / B2 in terms of grammar, to C1 in like 2 months. That was a great breakthrough for me, like a little step for a person, but a great step for humanity. That was about me and my English language. And after that, I started working in translations agency. It was a whole long story about how I was applying to different jobs and nobody wanted to accept me because I didn't have a university degree. But I used to be a very stubborn girl back then, and I think I'm now quite stubborn as well, and I really know what I want, and if I want that, I'll get that no matter what. So I applied for a job to Maxo Translations Agency, and I remember when I came to their office, they didn't ask me about university degree or anything, which was a huge drawback for me on all the previous work interviews. So they gave me the paper. It was a document. As I know, it was a power of attorney. It was like granting your credentials to other person. Then I didn't know what an attorney mean, and I just put 3 dots instead of the word that I didn't know, and they gave me the paper and the blank paper and the pen, and I was looking at that text and writing here the translation. Then I just gave it to a person interviewing me. It was Sveta. It was the most on one hand, the most patient, on the other hand, the most impatient boss I've ever had. But still, she taught me a lot in terms of self-organization, in terms of working hard, in terms of quality standards. And I worked there for a year. Also, I was teaching on a language course with kids, like really young kids. It was preschool, then elementary school, and I worked like this for yeah, I worked like that. And I found on Facebook I had an ad that a company called Sim Global is looking for English teachers, but they were looking not for just any teachers, but the ones who had real life practice with language. And I thought, translation, written and interpreting, which is oral, it's like it may be something that may interest them. And also the salary they promised was quite significant compared to what I earned as a translator. After that, I worked with that company for a year. Then a school that I worked for separated, and started working independently. Now it's known as Kiev Lyceum Kryla. It's a good school, actually good. I worked for this school for 2 years and 1 month, because I quit that job for some personal reasons. It's not about that somebody was mistreating me or something like that. It was just I thought that I'd like to try something else, and I changed my job. I Actually, what I'm talking about is these autumn's events. So I changed my job. I went to language courses. That was also quite promising, but in the end, which happened 2 months later, it was quite disappointing in terms of pay, in terms of uh, the approach, because I'm not sure if a child passes the standardized test means that the child knows the language. You know the language if you can operate it freely as it's your own language. That's my opinion on that, and I think never will ever change it. And I think that pronunciation matters a lot, use of language matters a lot, context means a lot. Translation is also something that I always teach my students how to do that, because we don't know how will their life turn. Maybe someday they'll need that, and after graduation they know how to do that. There are a lot of spheres where diploma is not required for translation, and you can earn some money on that. And yes, now my job is a little bit different. I still use English language a lot and translation, but I teach only several students that I have. Those are not students from some company, those are my students that I'm tutoring. And I enjoy that a lot. And also I'm happy that I don't have too much teaching for now, because I think I've burnt out a lot on that job, because you learn the language excellently when you teach it. I agree with that. Nothing can give you such command of language as explaining how to work with that to other people. But still, there is a lot of emotional load. And also, I think that a person cannot the person cannot stand too many children. I mean, we're naturally designed to have some amount of children we take care of, usually of different age, right? Because that's how nature works. We can't have like 10, 12, 20 children of same age. It's biologically impossible. And I felt that I'm getting tired of communicating with children, of talking, of telling same things all and over again. And that was hard, and that was exhausting for me, because I'm not designed for dull repetitive work, to be honest. And in teaching there is a lot of work that you just do and it never ends. There are things that you say all and over again, and nothing changes. That's frustrating. For me personally, it's frustrating. I know that there are a lot of people, I mean, most teachers are like that they can stand that, they can work with that and not burn out so fast. I think like for maybe 5 years of teaching was more than enough for me personally. but still I'm really grateful for all the experience I had there, and I'm really grateful. Yeah, I feel that I want to say thank you to all the people who taught me, or in any workplace that I had, in any school, university courses that I attended, because they shaped me like that, and they gave me the understanding of how like life works. I think that my jobs shaped me a lot, not only in terms of English language, but in terms of who I am. So I hope this video was interesting for you. You've heard something useful for yourself in terms of learning language, in terms of career, maybe. We don't know. We never know what which phrase that we've heard may affect us in a most unexpected way. So thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe, comment. If you have any questions you'd like to discuss, anything that you'd like to ask me, I'll answer with pleasure in comment section, or maybe email me. I'm the person who regularly looks through the email. And thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.